Hello, Bobcat fans, and welcome into the first episode of Behind the Paw, an exclusive interview series with coaches and student athletes here at Frostburg State University. Kicking things off today with football, and senior defensive end Zach Strand joining us here on the first episode. Zach, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. So, Zach, I just wanted to start off kind of looking at your background and how you got here to Frostburg State. So, when you think back to your beginnings in football, even before high school, who gave you your start in football? Who was that person, or what was that moment that told you this is the sport you wanted to play?
I didn't start playing football until high school. So I began in the wrestling field. Started that in middle school at a young age. My whole family, my uncle, cousin wrestled. So that was kind of what started off my athletic career, I should say. Got into high school, got into a high school like Kent Island, my 9th grade year, big football town. So everybody there loved it. I had a coach that loved it. Reminds me of Coach Fitz a lot. So that was kind of what started my whole little football journey, and kind of stuck to it ever since that day.
Looking at your time in high school, and one of your teammates here at Frostburg, you were teammates with back in high school. Opposite side of the football, though, offensive lineman Andrew Griffith, now all 4 years here at Frostburg State. Can you talk about the relationship the two of you have built over these years with playing the game of football?
If you know me and Drew we're pretty close, as close as we can get. He's a second family to me. His dad is another father to me that I never had. So that whole relationship with me and Drew, we built it in high school. My second semester sophomore year, when I transferred over to Easton, and ever since then we've been kicking it off like brothers, and we're still brothers to this day. Roommates now, been roommates for 4 years now. Got a house together, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So me and him, we go back for, it's got to be going on almost 8 years now. So that's my brother, and I love him like a brother. Love his family, like my family, you know. And we've been tight for a while now. So I don't think that'll ever change. That'll be consistent throughout the next couple of years of our life.
When you look back to your time at Easton High School in Maryland, what jumps to mind? What memories, games, plays, just any memories that you hold near and dear to your heart from your time playing high school football in Maryland?
The brotherhood we had my senior year, we had I believe 22 seniors my senior year, and we all led it in a way that was just extremely phenomenal to end a high school career. You know, with 22 guys that you can trust and build that relationship with, and not only build a relationship but transfer it over to the field, and you guys click and communicate and have that chemistry with each other when you get out there on that field. So I say that was the biggest thing coming from Easton my senior year, was the brotherhood that we all had going into that year. Just being able to transfer that to the field and have that chemistry with each other, and then bring the younger guys with us and try to push to a winning season as we did. So I think that was a big thing for me, brotherhood, that senior year at Easton.
When you look at how you talk about brotherhood a lot, and a lot of things I hear from players as well as Coach Fitzgerald is this is a tightly knit group, this Frostburg State football team. How close, really, just seeing from the inside, how close is this group of guys that plays for this Frostburg team? Super
close, and I think it gets better every year with the time that goes on. And when you start as a freshman, you don't really know anybody. And as for me, my personal self is coming as a freshman, I didn't know anybody but the freshmen.
Right.
So when I got in, I felt like it was important for me to first become closely connected with those guys in that class that I was with, and then from there on build into from being taken in from the seniors and juniors and sophomores. I think that made everything a lot smoother, and it brought us all together as one big family, and that's really what this is, a big family trying to pursue goals out there on the field, off the field, And we love each other like brothers, and I think that's another reason why we've been able to be successful in these last several years.
You talk about your first year here at Frostburg State, and one of your teammates while you were first year was Niles Scott, who eventually went and played in the NFL, still is playing in the NFL as we speak. Only teammates for 1 year, but what did you gather from him, whether it be one-on-one, him coaching you up as a first year, or just watching him play, his technique, the things he did on the field? What did you pick up from him?
Niles was a big brother. Him and Proctor,
Yeah.
they were big brothers to me. Proc played across from me, so they were huge into what I was doing as a freshman and making sure that I was holding myself at a higher standard than everybody else. Because little did I know I was going to be a leader at a young age, coming into my second year of college, which is tough. But they showed the way to lead, how to do little things right to be successful, and they preached that to me the whole season when I had the opportunity to be around them. And not only did they preach it to me, but they went out there and they showed it. And that was the biggest thing I grabbed for those guys, how to be a leader and not only preach it and execute it out there, but even off the field, man. They showed me different ways to be a leader as a young guy, and I always look up to them to this day. Shooting them a text, you know, when I have questions to send a third, just how to change the atmosphere, how to lead these guys, and that's because that's what they did for me, showing me how to be a leader in the best way possible.
How have you kind of taken on that leadership role? You talk about how Niles and Proctor were leaders when you were a younger guy in this program. Now you are that leader to the younger guys that are coming on and being recruited into this program. How do you take the values and the leadership skills that they displayed, and how are you taking them and now passing them along to the younger players of this program?
Little did I understand that it was really important for you to kick off your leadership roles to the younger guys,
right?
Because they're the next guys that's going to step up. They're the next guys that's going to lead it all. So it's important to display those leadership skills and all those abilities to them, so they're able to catch on and run with it when it's your time. And I think that's one of the big things, is proving it to the younger guys. This is how you do this is how you do that, and when the time comes, you need to do it this way. You need to do it this way. So getting out there and leading those guys and trying to get them on the same page as you are mentally, as well as physically. Second, that's a big thing for all of us seniors that's here now, and it's dragging the younger guys with us. A lot of times we talk about this 80-20 rule. There's a couple of us that's in that high percent. There's a couple of us in that low percent. And you want to drag as many people in the middle as we can, and that's what we try to do, drag those guys that's in the middle and get them to that upper 10% to help us be a great unit overall.
We were just talking about Niles a second ago, of course, and just looking through the record book here at Frostburg State, the two of you are tied for third in program history in sacks, 25.5 for the two of you, and you've been able to do that in 3 years. How have you seen your game? When you think back, like we were talking about Easton High School, how have you seen your game transform from the second you stepped onto campus 4 years ago to where you stand today?
A lot of things I changed off the field as far as the weight room. That's been a big contribution to my play on the field. It's being in there 24/7, fixing little things like mobility and my stretching and different stuff like that, so that way when I get out here, my flexibility and strength can play a factor in the way I play. And not only that, but being in the film, knowing down to a T what the other team's going to run when they're in certain formations, stuff like that has given me somewhat of an advantage, out there on the field. And I'd say from my freshman to senior year, I have to say it has to be the weight room. That's where it all starts. That's where we preach. That's where it all starts. If you take care of your business in there, do what you're supposed to do there, and a little bit more, that's where you see yourself change. That's where you see your body change. That's where you see your play elevate, and it starts in the weight room.
It's like that cliche, what you do in the dark shines in the light, and you're doing that for sure, getting that work done. in the weight room. Now, I want to talk about another one of your teammates, the opposite side of the defensive line, Karl Eagway. You smile on your face just talking about him, bringing up his name. What's the relationship the two of you have? You guys bookend the defensive line, and last year you guys were a very formidable force, getting into the backfield, disrupting the quarterback. Just what's the relationship that the two of you guys have, and how do you two work off of each other to make each other better?
Karl transferred here after my freshman season, so just how far we've come together as the two units, as two opposite sides of the field. It's been a journey, man. We both had our flaws or where we were lacking in certain areas on the field, certain areas off the field, that we had to fix in order to push ourselves past being good to being great. And we've strived for that year after year to fix those little things, so that way when we get out there, it shows. And I think the relationship between me and Karl is Karl is more of a silent guy. He's not gonna be the one that talks. He's more of a silent guy, and as far as leading, and he's more going to be one of those guys that show up by his actions and his play. So I think us taking those two, me being a more talkative guy and being a more silent guy, and bringing it together, I think that's what makes it work, makes it click out there when we're on the field on the opposite sides, and the chemistry that we have with each other. We've both been up here for 3 summers now, I believe, working together, fixing the little things that I keep talking about. So when you put in that amount of time with one guy, you know what he's going to do in certain situations. He knows what I'm going to do in certain situations. And then when you sit down and you talk about it together before the game, and practice, and team, and meetings, you get that relationship where what that guy is going to do in certain situations. It makes it better when you're out there on the field, because now all right, Zach's going to do this on this play, Karl's going to do this on this play. Now we can bring it together and click as a unit, as far as getting to the pass or getting in the backfield, whatever it may be. So when you have that relationship or that chemistry with another guy, it just makes your play. It makes everything else look a lot easier on the field, as far as executing and making the big plays that we love to do so much, and that everyone loves to do so much. So I think it makes it easier for us as a unit out there. So.
You talk about those big plays, and you made a bunch of them last year. And one game I want to bring up is the Thursday night game on television on Masson regionally here in Maryland. The game against Charleston, 42-7, the final score in that game. 2 forced fumbles for you, and you channeling your old running back days as well, a scoop and score for you off a forced fumble of Charleston's quarterback. Take me through that night, and more specifically that play. You're scooping up the ball and you're running back down the field for a touchdown. Can you recall what's going through your mind at that time?
That preparation going into that game, and then us as a team going into that game, we were the most fired up we were for the whole season that night. And whether it was because we were playing on TV or whatever it may have been, that was the best we had played. That might have been one of the best games we played all season. And for that play, we had a great call in, I'd say, and I say the guy behind me, Monty, we wind up executing that call in the most perfect way at time, and we both wind up getting back there at the same time, being able to hit him, get the ball out, and it's the rest is history. Scooped and scored. It was a phenomenal moment. I still remember it to this day. It will be one that I remember for a while. Phenomenal moment in my college career, and like I said, I'll remember for forever now.
I want to take a look kind of at you off the field, and maybe some guys, whether it be people you've played with, guys you've played against, or maybe some guys at the next level that you kind of watch and admire their skill and their technique. Who are some of those guys that you really watch and try and pick up some stuff from?
I tend to watch a lot of guys that are similar to me, that do similar stuff. as far as rushing the passer, as far as playing the run. So I like to look at a lot of guys that do a lot of finesse, that are good at rushing the passer, good with their hands, good on third, second and long, stuff like that. So Von Miller, he's a guy that's been dominating the league for a while now. A guy that I watched a lot in his college days, Derek Barnett. He was relentless. He was great pass rusher for Tennessee. There's a lot of guys.
There's a lot, I bet.
Oh man, but just like I said, those guys that they're similar to me and do similar stuff, so I can learn from them, see how they do it, see how they set certain things up. And Karl's the same way. He likes to watch guys that set up things in certain ways, to similar ways that we would out there with ourselves. So just to get a better way of executing a certain move or a certain pass rush move, a certain setup for a move, stuff like that. So like I said, Von Miller, Derek Barnett, I watched him a lot throughout my years of playing, and I'd say I still got some learning to do, man, as far as what moves to do, how to read certain blocks better, and I'm still working on that to this day. So hopefully within these next couple practices that we got going down, I can put some stuff together, fix those little things that I'm still working on, so I can become great in what I do.
And sometimes what guys, just from talking to people, hearing what guys say across all sports, not just football, is watching these guys and picking up on what they do, not just what they do on the field, but things they do off the field, like you've talked about, getting in the weight room, watching film, these things that are so important, but you also kind of see their motivation. So when you look at yourself as a player, what motivates you every single day to get up out of bed in the morning and get on the football field, get in the weight room, whatever it may be, and keep grinding?
I always say God, family, friends, and football. Starting with God, He's the only reason why I'm out here to be able to do what I'm doing. So you got to thank Him. You got to be grateful for what the abilities that He's given me as an athlete, as a student athlete. My family. I come from a really, really, really loving family. We stay together. We've been together for my whole life. So us being tight and me wanting to make them proud is another reason why I do what I do and why I work so hard. My friends, I don't know what it is about the bond that you get that we get as human beings, but when you're successful and people see that, and it's just something that I kind of thrive on. I don't know what it is, but just having my friendships that push me to be great, and want to be great, is just another reason why. Now, like I said, football. I do this for the other 149 guys we have. Without them, I'm nothing. I can't play without the other 10 guys. Defense can't be successful without the offense, and offense and defense can't be successful with special teams on their part. So, without those other 149 guys, I don't know what I'd do or how successful I could be without them to push me. So, without God, family, friends, football, I don't know where my motivation would come from.
I can't help but notice the 2 rings on your right hand. Show the camera right here what you got on. Tell us about what those rings are, where they came from, what they mean to you.
These are 2 conference championship rings, one from my freshman year, one from my sophomore year. Man, the 2 incredible journeys we had as a team, and like I said, it's one of those seasons, 2 of those seasons that you just remember for the rest of your life, whether it be vivid memories or whatever it may be. It's just a time you can never forget. A time of hardship, a time of hard work, a time of dedication that we all put into the season to be able to wear these things around, So it was just such big strides that we took those years coming in. And the coaching that we had to push us in the right direction, starting with Coach Fitz, So it's just like I said, memories I'll have for the rest of my life with all the hard work and dedication that went into getting these rings for those 2 years. And the guys that are in front of me got it for 3 years, so 3 years straight. So it's been a wild ride, and like I said, all that hard work, you know, to be able to get these and to be able to have them and wear them, it's just great. It's just unspeakable, because when I think and look back at those years, man, it's wild. And like people say all the time flies, but it really does. So to be able to look back and see the accomplishments that we had as a team those years is just wonderful.
Well, Zach, I appreciate you coming in and taking the time with us here on Behind the Paw. Really like hearing the story, the background, everything about you, and I wish you the best of luck moving forward. That was Zach Strand here on Behind the Paw. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on Friday. We'll sit down with football head coach Delane Fitzgerald. Have a good day. Go Bobcats.